that has something that they definitely want to talk about in front of an audience? I need 5 people to come up here. Okay. What?
What if I've been on a panel?
No, you can't. What about you down here that I met in the lobby? You come up here. You're up here. Who? You, come on up.
I don't.
Where? Okay, I need some panelists. Come on. You, get up here.
What are you gonna ask?
All right. I'm basically soliciting new clients. It's okay. Really, this is a complete shill. These chairs are empty. Somebody fill them.
Can I come up?
Sit down, grab a chair.
This is an experience. Can I come up?
Yeah. Okay, we have one more chair empty. Just filling it quickly. When the music stops, we start. Can I take a conversation outside? Okay, everybody's got a mic. Okay, if you haven't done this before, talk into your mic, get your mic as close to you, make love to it. We're going to try a little experiment of just seeing, you are the panel. Here we go. So, this is for everybody who's never gotten a chance, who's written letters saying I should be on a panel, I've got a really cool new company, or I've got an opinion. I feel that I'm missing Debbie Newman, but there she is. You want to come up and co-moderate with me? That's okay, you'll ask questions. I know. So, who are you? Why the hell are you up here? You're on.
Yes, hello. Good morning, everyone. My name is William Terry, and I'm originally from New York, but now I live in Paterson, New Jersey.
That was a good move.
And thank you so much. But I'm trying to work my way back home and think local and be global. The reason why I'm glad I'm here, first of all, I'd like to mention that last year I went back to school. I was a student at SAE, so I'm here to promote education and technology as well.
Good school.
I got a certificate from the electronic dance media part of the school. So, but what I'm really glad to talk about also is independent artists and songwriting and publishing. From the last panel that was up here,
Go for it.
It's a pleasure to be up here with or to see David and Ken and some of the other panelists. I think most important thing is since we have this extraordinary opportunity with the internet and social media, is to do music that definitely comes straight from the heart, but also challenges social issues. I think with so much freedom and so much content available, I think there's a sort of a fine line between saying things that are relevant and sort of brings people together and helps celebrate life, culture, spirituality, education, and everything else. So that's pretty much. My company always.
What do you do? Yeah,
I'm a songwriter and a producer. So I feel very strongly about.
And as a songwriter and a producer, how do you? You just heard that panel. Did it give you hope or did it give you indigestion?
No, definitely not indigestion. It gave me a lot of hope. I think as far as fixing music licensing, I think there's a lot of lead work or a lot of damage control that can still be made in progress. But it's wonderful that some of the bigger companies are finally realizing how important social media is, and some of the newer business models are really taking off today. So I think in this time in history, the best of both worlds is very important. I think we're very fortunate and blessed to live in this time where we can still be into a lot of the older business models, or even artists or business people that affected us or inspired us in the past, but we can still think about today and how extraordinary it is to have these social media platforms and be able to express ourselves on a global basis.
What I got out of it from David's talk was that Marty Bandier has the same large lifestyle as Doug Morrison and should be able to support it in the same fashion.
Yes, and how we can all be a part of that.
And be a part of it.
Be a part of it.
Okay, and who are you and how did you get up here?
I raised my hand, so I got it. But my name's Andy Pickens. I run a social marketing platform called Jamplify. I think we actually talked last week on the phone, so nice to meet you.
Somebody was talking about a Jamplify campaign at the airport last night.
Good to hear.
Good to
Do you
hear.
know which campaign?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Well, I can think about it. It's been a red eye and whatever, so
Sure.
I'll think of it and I'll tell you who it was.
So you might have seen our company. We won the marketing prize at the Meet-M Lab competition in Cannes last month. We launched Jamplify about 6 months ago. It's a platform where artists can engage their existing fans and motivate those fans to spread the word on social media. We started working on it about 2 years ago, moved to Nashville and launched the product down there, and then relocated to New York in September. So it's been a good busy year. We're all about driving awareness and kind of growing our exposure within the music scene. So I'm glad to be in front of all of you on stage.
So how does the campaign work? What's the business model and how does an artist engage with you?
Sure. So the way our product works is an artist can set up a campaign, which is what our product is called, to promote any specific piece of content. So that can be a YouTube video, new tour dates, their website, an iTunes release. And what happens is fans come in and compete to drive the most other people to check out that content release. So each fan gets their own unique referral link, and then we do all the tracking on the back end to determine how many people each fan drives in to check out that content. And then artists reward the fans that are the most effective promoters. So in a lot of ways, it's like Kickstarter because the artists are offering really cool dynamic rewards to fans. And the fans, instead of giving dollars, they're giving exposure and they're giving their social capital. So we've seen the platform be really successful at all different levels of artists. The largest campaign we've run yet is for a pop artist named Jasmine Villegas, who opened for Justin Bieber a bit last year. So her fans are crazy on Twitter. And it's still running right now. It's been live for about 2 weeks, I believe. And she has 700 fans that have driven 130,000 people to check out her new YouTube video. So we're seeing huge metrics. The platform scales really well with big artists, but also works very well with artists that have 1,000 fans. So yeah, it's just a matter. And what's great about the product is it's really turnkey. You can set up a campaign in 5 minutes. So we really look for people to just go on the website, set up campaigns, and just start using our product as soon as they're ready.
And how do you connect to other platforms, or are you a solo destination?
Right now, it's a destination product.
So can I plug it into my Facebook page? I mean, how do I let my friends know that you're doing this campaign?
Right, so the artist sets up the campaign, they have a landing page on Jamplify.com, and then they can blast that out over Facebook and Twitter and email, and their fans will click on the link there and be directed to that landing page on Jamplify. We're building out, we have our API already built out, so if somebody wanted to do a custom integration on their own website, we do the functionality for that as well.
So they get exposure. How do you make money?
So people pay us for the campaigns. So the unlimited campaign right now is $500 to run the campaign. But we have a couple of other price options for lower level artists that don't want to spend several $100s to promote a specific piece of content. And in those contexts, you pay based on the amount of exposure you're willing to pay for. So you can pay $100 and you can have the campaign run until your fans drive 1,000 new people to check out whatever content that is. And you can pay $50 and the campaign will run until your fans drive 500 people.
Got it. And you?
Hey,
So you made
just thinking
a-
about what Ken Hurt said, you know, it's like
Which
which
one?
one impression.
Which thing did he say? He says a lot of things.
He said a
He
few
said
good
good
things.
things.
He said if you're trying to make a good impression, that's what you'll leave. The impression you'll leave.
Okay.
Something like that. So I'm not going to try to make a good impression.
Okay, good.
I'm David Patillo. I'm the founder of a company called Hitcher, and what we do is we bring credits, album credits, and Wikipedia information into Spotify. I'm also a producer. I produce a show called Live at the Artist then on PBS and Mix. So part of my struggle and experience online was that producers and songwriters, of which I'm a songwriter as well, are not getting credit online. So a lot of people were talking. I saw the Spotify platform release, and I saw the app platform.
The Lib
within
Spotify?
Yeah. So we built an app called Hitcher, and
How long have you been doing this?
we launched in October. I think the app platform came out in
A year ago in November.
I'm sorry, around November. Yeah. So we were not one of the first, but we've been working on it for about a year with Spotify, and there's a lot of process to that, and it's a long process. And so we've been on, I don't know, it was 6 months, 4 months.
So the question came up yesterday in another session somewhere that for the people who did debut on Spotify in November of 2011, it's now been almost a year and a half that they've been told someday you'll get to monetize.
Yeah, well, we've never been told that. That was news, but I could see that on the live stream, so that was great.
So, how do you feel? I mean, you're on there because you obviously want exposure right now, but what's your end game in terms of, you can't stay on Spotify forever and not have a revenue model.
Right. I mean, I think it's like build a good product. I mean, I think that's the end game, build a good product and people will come.
But when they come, how do you get paid? I think if you build it, they come, they love it. You've got millions of users.
I mean, that's the first question everybody asks me, but it's not the most interesting thing to me. I mean, it as a business model, perhaps, but I think, Instagram had no revenue. Sold for $1 billion. So I think that there's ideas. I think we're in an economy of ideas. So if you've got a great idea, and this may not be the greatest idea, but it certainly helps people, and I'm hoping that people will respond positively. And they have.
There's a Grammy initiative about credits. Are you talking to them at all?
Yeah, it's interesting. We did get Digital Music News actually wrote us up, and so I think he was running free Spotify, and we did get some good press, but the Grammys were kind of like that we didn't really get the response. It's interesting, the really strong responses have been from the tech sites, but the music business has been really slow to respond. So I think that's, somebody tweeted the other day that, from the San Francisco Fest that, the reason why that they liked, I think it was the cellist that played, she said she loves going to tech festivals because there's such, the tech people are so positive and optimistic, and I think the music events that we go to are kind of, tough. So the tech world has been really responsive. I've seen that same kind of response in the press, whereas Make Use Of and some of the bigger tech sites have been really good at and very excited about what we're doing, but the music sites have kind of thrown up their hands.
We'll work on that.
Yeah, I mean, I got into it because I was listening to old Howlin' Wolf records, and I play the blues. I have a band called the Dead X's, and we tour and stuff. And I was looking at Muddy Waters and on Spotify and finding all this music, but not finding, and constantly Googling and going and finding different things. And this was a way for me to satisfy my need, and it's been good. So we're hoping
That's because he was covering Pat Boone.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, next down there, I can't tell you.
Hi. My name is Beverly Moore. I just arrived from Canada. Sorry, that's my phone.
No, it's my job to get a phone call on every panel.
You can tell I like Adele. Basically, I came from Toronto. I'm just here to kind of find more investment.
And she's got her own backing
Sorry,
track.
everyone's calling me from the office.
It's copyrighted,
I own a digital
French.
agency. My background.
What's that? I'm sorry,
I own a digital agency.
Okay.
We create apps and web design, websites. Our main clients are financial at the moment, Bank of Montreal, Harris Bank in the States. And let's see, my background, I graduated as a musician, classical guitar, at University of Toronto. And
You know Neil Dixon there.
I learned very early.
You gotta meet Neil. Neil, raise your hand.
Okay.
Neil's from Toronto. You guys get together afterwards.
I learned very early I wasn't going to make much money, and decided I was going to go take accounting, so I became an accountant. And I've done books for Tragically Hip. I don't know if you know any of these bands.
Yeah.
Some 41, she'll talk about Beyonce.
Cool.
Yeah.
Jake Gold's good.
Yeah, I worked with Jake for a while. And I run a couple of record labels, and I decided, you know what, I really, really like the digital end. I'm going to go explore it. My husband's my business partner, so he's the tech side. I'm the more accounting brain side. So I come up with it's an app that's basically going to facilitate the selling of merch. Hopefully that will increase the sales and the viability of not just the CD, but also, items, whatnot, branding. And I'm hoping that the industry takes it on. I went to Madame to launch, just came back, and I'm here now to find more artists to use the product.
Cool.
And investors. So if there's anyone that wants to invest.
So Beverly will be out in the lobby right after this.
What's the app called?
Merch app. Very simple.
How does it work?
Basically, you log in as a manager or salesperson, or you assign a salesperson. They will go out into the crowd, sell your merchandise, and it's free to use the app, but the back end is the accounting, because as an accountant, I hate getting little tick sheets at the end of a show. And mind you, I've reconciled a lot of merch. There's a lot of items that go missing, stolen, a lot of that stuff. I feel that if you could somehow capture how much money is made on the road, you could really upsell yourself as an artist to the majors and whatnot. So hopefully.
Accounting isn't so good at 2 in the morning after a lot of beers. T-shirts are flying out the door.
Yeah, basically.
I'm Garrett Groman. I work at a company called Indiegogo.
Indiegogo?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I'm in the...
The kind of gentler Kickstarter.
Yeah, exactly. We are actually the world's largest crowdfunding platform, being because we're the only open global platform.
You don't have to like apply and
Yeah, there's no gatekeepers. Meet a couple benefits.
non-judgmental.
Pardon me?
Non-judgmental.
Exactly. Very, like I said, the friendly version. But I'm in charge of the East Coast Music Department. I'm up here honestly because I really hate indecision, and it seemed like no one was really going for it, and it just gave me anxiety, and I just fuck it.
Now you're up here. How do they look out there from here?
Oh, this is great. I used to be in a band, and I mean, still, anxiety is huge with me, so I hate
So
being
what
up
is
here.
We all hear about the Kickstarter campaigns, the
Yeah.
Amanda Palmer campaigns. What are some of the Indiegogo campaigns that you're proud of?
Actually, we just
Especially in
launched,
music.
yeah, we just launched the second largest, with the exception of the Amanda Palmer campaign, second largest music campaign ever, crowdfunded. Protest the Hero raised $340,000 in like 35 days, 40 days. They're like a progressive rock band out of Toronto, I think. They're Canadian. So, and I mean, yeah, things are going along really well. Yesterday we launched Tim from a band called As They Lay Dying, like a metal band.
I know.
His side project, Austrian Death Machine. It's like an Arnold Schwarzenegger parody band. It's great. It's really funny. He's a great guy. And
How do you parody Arnold Schwarzenegger?
it's all of the lyrics are Arnold Schwarzenegger quotes. So it's kind of like making fun of like metal and being a meathead, both of which he is really, really involved in. But no, I mean, it's like in the past, I would say since 2013, we've made huge strides towards becoming not so much the gentler Kickstarter, but the gentler crowdfunding platform. Right now, Kickstarter kind of owns the Kleenex of crowdfunding, if you will. So it's, I mean, yeah, essentially why I'm up here is to tell you guys we exist. There's a lot of people out there probably could use the platform. If you have any questions, let me know.
Cool. And last but certainly not least.
My name is Casey Dinkin, and I'm a singer-songwriter. I've been in New York for about 1.5 years, and I did a Kickstarter campaign. But I have contributed to other people's projects on Indiegogo. So I think that's great. I didn't raise as much money as Amanda Palmer, but close. No, not really, but anyway.
I was there with you.
And I was the one who was tweeting my names before, I'm sorry. But I was sort of like off to the side, so I couldn't really see faces too well. So I basically came to this conference because I'm volunteering. Also, I feel like as an artist, a singer-songwriter who kind of recently decided that someday I'm going to make a living through my art, and I crazily believe this still, decided that I needed to learn, every aspect of the music business on my own or as much as I can, and be, completely self-sufficient and able to, know about the business side and use all these platforms effectively. Something that I'm really interested in hearing about here or learning a little bit more about is as I move forward with my album, which is going to be released in the next few months, trying to figure out if it makes more sense to, hop in my car, which I still have, even though it's not a very good thing to have in New York, and take off on a self-planned tour around the country, or should I, invest the money that I have in creating more content, as was talked about before, music videos or whatnot, to try to reach more people online. So
a Twitter handle?
Right.
At Casey Dinkin,
How do you spell that? It means to follow you.
CASEY DINKIN. I deleted the wrong tweets though.
Okay. And Facebook?
It's facebook.com/Casey Dinkin, CASEYDINKIN.
Cool. Are you using Dan page?
Pardon?
Are you using Dan page?
Yes, actually I am.
Well, and it's when you release, when you're releasing the music.
Well, I'm going to, I've promised it to my Kickstarter fans for quite some time. So I'm going to do like an unofficial release to them, and then I'm going to hold on to it for a few months before doing the big release. But I want to figure out what my strategy is first
That's
around
good.
that. Yeah.
So,
That's
how
what
many
I'm
in the
doing.
audience, this will be my first quiz of the day, have signed up for either an Indiegogo or a Kickstarter campaign, supported one? Okay. Pledge music counts. How many of you have gotten apology letters from the people that you've pledged to? Okay, I've signed up for 3 Kickstarter campaigns where we thought the product would be done, it's been delayed, it's been held by customs, our boss has been indicted, whatever. But, okay, so what I want to use the time for, we have 10 minutes till we get to noon. You guys were all out in the audience for the previous panel. I'd love to hear your reaction to what you think about, how broken or what are your impressions of what you listened to for an hour? And anybody can jump in.
I think it was really interesting to hear how Marty talked about the artists having their game on in a time when music we no longer call music but we call content.
I always hate that we consume content because if you do, something comes out the other end.
It's a strange. The amazing thing about music is that it's created. It's a creative act, and it requires a lot of steps to get to the point of being content. Whereas a Photoshop documentary video does as well, but there's certain creators behind it. So we've got these rights, and it's a can of worms. I mean, it is exciting to see. I think with David from the NMPA, so positive about and adamant about his role and what he can do and the changes he can make. But that combined with artists being on their game and they're assembling their teams, because we all know that we're in this thing for potential pennies at this point.
Bring up Spotify.
Yeah. But I thought that was heartening, to hear a positive take on the future. Thoughts?
As he just said, I think, well, first of all, having Ken here and David, especially as the other gentleman from AEG, was absolutely incredible. Usually in the independent world, you have to be at a certain level to even get a meeting with some of these gentlemen. So the great thing about being here, especially at the first panel this morning, is finding they were all here together. So you can
As I said at the beginning, this was a unique panel. We have to find, there was someone literally, if you were casting a movie, there was someone in every role up here, and sometimes we have overlap and whatever, and it wasn't. So this was a great opportunity to really get a look at each person's perspective. This is the best one yet.
Absolutely. And I would also like to say, I think it's important for songwriters and publishers to always, be involved in the creative aspect as much as possible and the administrative and the legal sides of copyright forms from the Library of Congress. Yesterday I joined Sound Exchange for the first time. So there's always ways of taking care of your business. And here in New York, at 1 East 53rd Street, there's a volunteer Lawyers of the Arts that are really engaged in helping independent artists who are brokering deals, etc. So I think that as far as building a team and being on your second or third release, knowing as much about the business side of the industry, the business side of making music, and the new technology is very, very important because, a lot of times when the newer companies were coming out, there were some people who were saying, things have changed so much, and to be more progressive, you have to embrace technology and embrace the new business models, and of course you do. But taking care of business is never going to change. It's never going to be old hat to know as much about the legalities of making music or administrative, or even what a publicist does, or how other people who are, and even some of the venture capital people and other companies and brands who have never been engaged in making music or even selling content until now. So there's a huge pie for all of us, and everyone has a niche and can develop in their chosen professions. But I think it's also knowing as much about the other person and the other companies and the other positions helps to make you better prepared and more professional.
Yes, Helen.
cdbaby.com/Billy Terry, and I do have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/Billy Terry Live.
Cool. I'm teasing Debbie. It's happening. Do you know who knows who Helen Thomas is?
Oh, Helen Thomas, please.
Always ask the first question at the press conference. Go ahead.
I think she died.
Debbie.
Didn't she die?
No, I don't know.
Anyway.
They propped her up yesterday. I don't know.
I wanted to ask the artists, basically, Casey, whom I can't see, David, people who are involved in making music, what they think about the comments in the last panel relating to the relative value of the performance, the sound recording, let's say, or the stream of a sound recording, and the underlying composition. And I would assume that it would be a different, this is my guess, that if you're the performer and the songwriter, you might look at it differently as opposed to if you were the performer singing somebody else's song, like a cover version. And the imbalance, and I'm not taking a position here because I have varying thoughts about it, but the imbalance between what, let's say, the PROs get, the ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC get versus what the owner of the recording gets, and whether or not you think that it should be, or whether you think it's completely out of whack, and where you think that balance is.
All of the above. No, I think that, I think
You have a
that
future in politics. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think that it's a good time to write your own music. It's really changing the landscape of that economic model. I mean, that economic model has got to change. I mean, it's how does it change? I mean, I think these guys will figure it out. I'm certainly not going to figure it out. But I'm going to continue to write music and do my thing because I'm compelled to do it. And I think that's why any artist does what they do, right? I mean, it's not like we're doing this because we think we're going to get rich. We do it because we love it.
I mean, I just say, as I was listening to all of that, I was sort of struck by how complex it all is and, how much really there is to understand. And, it's going to obviously take a lot of time. But also, I was thinking, boy, I'm really glad I write my own music because it seems like it simplifies things to some degree.
Would you not record another song from another writer as a result of the publishing broken system?
Well, I don't know, too much specifically about the system and how it could be better, but I do know that when I was choosing songs for my album, there was a song that I would have liked to record that is, written by someone else, and I just decided, you know what, it's too complicated. I have too many other things to think of. Let me just do my own songs right now.
Other thoughts?
It kind of also struck me as a Congress. It seemed like what we have to deal with to get this done is like getting
This is for the music industry, for artists, this is the fiscal cliff. Getting past all this is really, it's taking way too long and there's too many people. I mean, if David is dedicated to this as he says he is and other people show the same resolve, then hopefully we'll
It's kind of like
but
the critical mass.
it's been literally, I joked about the 13 years, but it's been 13 years. It's been 13 years. I want to thank everybody. Because I haven't talked enough up here, I've been asked to do an interview somewhere in some room here. So if you'd like to come to that during lunch, great. Otherwise, go have lunch. It'll probably be much more rewarding. Thanks to everybody. Thanks for you guys doing this. I hope you enjoyed this. We may do it again.